Hope you'll continue to pray. I'll sing a song, speak a few words, and shortly get out.
Bless the Lord. Yep, you satisfy your heart.
Yeah.
I never made a fortune. I guess it's too late now. Oh, but I don't worry about that much, because I'm happy anyhow. As I go along life's journey, I'm reaping better than I've sowed. I'm drinking from my saucer, because my cup has overflowed.
Yeah, Lord. Yes, it has.
Haven't got a lot of riches. Sometimes the going's rough, but I've got a friend in Jesus, and that makes me rich enough. I thank God for all His blessings on me.
That's right.
And the mercy He's bestowed. I'm drinking from my saucer, because my cup has overflowed. And if I should go on living, if the way gets steep and rough, I won't ask for other blessings, 'cause I'm already blessed enough. I'll never be too busy to help another bear his load. I'll keep drinking from my saucer, because my cup has overflowed.
Thank you, Lord.
You know, there's a lot of people that I've met in this world that I'm not confident in their soul. A lot of people I've seen leave this world that I'm not confident that I know where they went.
Hey, Lord.
You know, but it's rare anymore to come across those that have such a light and such a zeal that even though you don't know someone's heart, we can pretend and we can say that we know someone's heart and how they are, but that's just not true. We don't know. But there's a confidence that we get in certain people that we meet that just makes us feel good, makes us want to do better. You know, and I've thought a lot this week on what to say, where to go, how to be. Today is just another testament as to how this world is slowly passing us by, and how everything is always changing.
Yeah, it is.
But one thing stays absolute. Regardless of who leaves the church, who moves away, who does what, my God, He's still the same. It hasn't changed. Hasn't changed since the beginning. Isn't going to change now. And there's coming a day when that door that we talk about is going to be shut. You know, I've been doing a lot of reading and trying to come up with things that I felt would be relative to the kind of day we're going to have today. And I was reading when Paul was charging Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 4. He said, I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at His appearing in His kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, But after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. Amen. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thine ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord the righteous judge shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing.
That's right.
Not a whole lot I can say here this morning, other than it has been an absolute blessing, Brother Mark and Sister Lillian, to have you here.
Yeah.
Amen.
Right.
And you know,
Likewise.
the wonderful thing about it is that straight and narrow path that we talk about, it don't start and just go through North Carolina.
That's right.
It's everywhere in this nation that we live in. We talk a lot about the earth's loss and heaven's gain. Well, I do feel like it's North Carolina's loss and Ohio's gain.
Yeah.
And you know, I just want you to know that even though you're going to be 6 hours away, as I believe what she said, you'll be 6 hours away, but know that this old boy, every time that I come into Mount Airy and I drive through this poor little neighborhood and I see those people walking up and down these roads, I'm going to think about how you two fed them.
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to think about when my daughter was looking for a way to help out people.
Yeah.
That your little ministry that you had outside of here gave her a platform.
Yeah.
To let her little heart shine. I'm thankful that despite how things are going to change and how there's still work to be done, no matter where we are,
Right. Yep.
that you'll leave an impact on this little building here. You'll leave an impact on this little community.
Yeah.
And I have confidence here this morning that no matter where you are in Ohio, you're not going to let someone go hungry. You're not going to let someone be cold.
Yeah.
But most importantly, you're going to come across those just like you did here who's spiritually hungry.
Yeah.
And I do believe with every ounce of my being, every fiber of my soul, that when that time comes and somebody is hungry and needs to be fed of the Spirit, I do believe with everything that I've seen and the witnesses that you're going to leave behind that, listen, you'll reach out to those people and you'll continue to do work that I'm not going to be able to do here today. It's a wonderful thing that even though we're going to say goodbye for a little while, listen, the work that we've been doing here, it's still going to go on, and it's going to be up in that little state of Ohio. And you know, we've got a little state there in between called Kentucky that we're going to go to, and we're going to continue to work. Listen, we've got churches down in Florida. We got our church here in North Carolina. The work that we still need to do, regardless of what this world changes on us, I have faith here this morning that you'll continue to do those things. I had been thinking a lot about it, the way that my mind had played out. I was thinking to myself, maybe one day we would have Brother Mark sitting up here looking at the office of a deacon. And that's just how selfish I was here today, trying to keep you all to myself. But there's a big world out there here today that I just can't touch. And if you have to be the ones, listen, that has to make that 6-hour drive up there to do do my Lord's work, then I tell you that's all right with me here today. We can say goodbye, but just for a moment of time. If we never see each other again in this world, I was talking about it up at that little memorial meeting in Kentucky, having people there at that memorial meeting that never ever go to church, but they're just there to hear somebody's name called off. Well, you know, we had a lot of people in that room that was just rejoicing, and we had a lot of people who doesn't understand the way that we think here today, doesn't understand that there is no goodbye with God's children here today. Listen, it's only a see you later kind of thing. Listen, when we close our eyes here to this world, I'm telling you, I believe we'll open them in a better land, but we gotta work while we're here in this old world. The silliness that the devil has brought onto this world, we need to continue to leave it outside and push it out of our lives here today. Listen, when the world starts putting that weight on your shoulders, just know that that cross that my Lord bared and carried up that hill was a lot heavier than the afflictions and the turmoil of this world. Everything that we think, listen, is too heavy to bear. The pain is just too much. The path is just too long. My Lord's already been there, and He's already walked that path on His way to Jerusalem there, on His way to these different places. He would go through these little villages. He would go through these little towns. They would bring Him people. They would bring Him those who were blind. They would bring Him those that just couldn't be touched. Listen, they would call Him to a place where a young girl was laying dying, and it seemed like He took His time, didn't it? Getting to where she was, being stopped by the multitude, stopped by everyone as He was on His way. And when He had got there, they had told Him, "Oh Lord, it's just too late. She's already gone." Listen, that's the way we get here today. Listen, we want everything to be the way we picture it here. We want our own little perfect world. Or at least that's what we think it is. But then my Lord steps in, just like He did in that little story. Listen, He told them she wasn't dead, that she was just sleeping. And they laughed and mocked Him there. Listen, but He took them out, and He took that little girl by the hand. He told her to get on up, and the Bible says straight away she got up. She had just been sleeping there. Listen, if it would have been the leader of that synagogue, if he had the way that he wanted it, Jesus would have passed that multitude, but on His way through that multitude, there was somebody in need, and if they would have passed on and not been walking amongst that multitude, there wouldn't have been a little woman, listen, who had lost it all, had nothing in this world because of her own afflictions. If the leader of that synagogue would have had his way, just like I want to keep you guys here, but I know that my Lord, He has better things planned for us all. If He wouldn't have been walking through there, she couldn't have clawed her way through that group and reached out and got a little bit of Jesus, got a little bit of that virtue from Him. Listen, if it would have been His way, Jesus would have got there right away. And she never would have slept.
That's right.
But I tell you, if it would have been His way, then that woman with the issue of blood would have never been made whole. I'm not selfish when it comes to my Lord here today.
That's right.
Or at least I say I'm not. I don't think I am. I try not to be. But I've thought about it all week. It is a hard thing to say goodbye, whether it's physically someone leaving this world, that's tough, or someone moving away, that's tough. It's always been tough for me until I found my God, until I found the Lord, and know that this whole thing is bigger than me.
That's right.
It's bigger than anyone sitting in this room. It's bigger than Mark and Lillian here today. It's bigger than me. And you know, there's a multitude out there that some of us just need to pass on through. And I have full faith here this morning that when that time comes and you settle in, Sister Carol said it here this morning that she didn't think Lillian's ever met a stranger. You know, and just like Apostle Paul was talking to Timothy there, I do no different here today, but other than, and I don't know necessarily if it would be out of line, but I'm charging you here this morning. I'm charging you to continue to do the things that you've been doing. I charge you to find that little community and settle down and take a look outside and see where my God is, and so you can take him and put him in those places before we met you guys, before Chris and Jeremy stopped and put a little flyer at your door. Listen, there was a little place out here, listen, that other than this little church building here, there wasn't much of God out on these roads, but I can remember a few little days in the week where God sat right over there in that parking lot, and God and his people were handing out food to those who needed it, was keeping people warm, listen, who needed it, and I know that up in Ohio there's people just like
Yep.
That's right.
All over the world.
I'm thankful here today that there was such an outreach and we just got to see. You don't know how much you blessed me. And not just by the way you are, but the things that you've done. Brother Robert, I would have never known him if you wasn't reaching out the way you were. You brought Amber in.
Yep.
And I hope that something that has been said here stick with her.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, if it wasn't for you going outside of your comfort zone, or maybe it is your comfort zone, but it ain't mine. Listen, if it wasn't for you reaching out to that little girl, she would have never brought that boy in here, and I wouldn't have been able to sit right here and watch a broken pagan boy get out of his seat and shake all the way up to where I was sitting, sit down next to me and say, I just need you to pray for me here. Listen, that wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have been doing the things you were doing. Listen, how it blesses me here today. I know Brother Robert was blessed. I could see it and feel it all over him. But the boy sitting next to him, I'm telling you, my heart was on fire. Listen, watching his heart break. But I do believe that God made it anew.
Amen.
And I believe there's still work to be done.
Lord.
I'm not going to stand and continue to tear in Babylon and get you the song ready. I know that there was a time in my life when I needed God and didn't know where to look for Him.
Amen.
I knew that there was little church houses that I could go to. And there have been many that I went to where everybody was giving me conflicting information about Him. Some man prayed for me one time and told me I was saved. One person told me that the tattoos on me would exclude me from what they're doing. Some people told me that I'm too far gone. But I tell you here today, when I was needing that spiritual food, I came into a little church house and I heard a brother sing a song, and I'd never heard anybody sing sing like that in my life. Listen, I would come into that little building and a little old woman would come and kiss me on my cheek. It wasn't something I was used to. Listen, and just like that confidence that I'm talking about, we had a brother up there in Kentucky that he was on that memorial list, and he's on a picture back in the back of that room there. His name's Brother Barry Tiller, and he would come to our little church there in Kentucky. Listen, and he when he would preach, I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention because I was sitting up in a church completely condemned, and I couldn't even hear the words that were being spoken because my own condemnation was too loud. Listen, but there came a time when that man, seen a broken boy sitting in the front of a church, watching my heart break with no expression on my face. Listen, and you know what? He called Chris one day asking what was I waiting on, and it shocked me to my core. I didn't think anybody realized what was going on with me, but I tell you here today, he's dead and gone. But I'll tell you what kind of impact he left here today. Listen, I wouldn't be who I am today if he wouldn't have called me out and seen what I was going through. If he wasn't able to see what was going on with me, listen, I wouldn't be standing here today. And I think that if you had to measure out your life here today, his life, I don't know a whole lot about him. I didn't know his heart, but I'm confident that he's over there in that glory land, that he punched his ticket, because if there's one thing that I could do in this world to make my whole life worth it, it would be to be an inspiration to someone.
Yeah, that's right.
To do works just like you did, and to have that young boy come up here shaking and crying. That's what this thing's all about.
Amen.
The location don't matter, because we're all looking for the same location. We're all wanting to go to the same place. So I charge you here this morning, you just go ahead and sing you a song, to continue to be that light that you've been to us here. And I want you to think every time that this world, no doubt with the big move, it's going to come at you and it's going to try to beat you down. But I want you to know that here in North Carolina, there's a group of people who love you, listen, and appreciate everything you brought to them. And that there's a boy, a little boy that used to be an atheist in this world, got changed by God, had a little daughter who just was looking for a way to reach out to this world, and through your ministry, my daughter was able to help those that she wanted to help. Listen, think about the impact that you left here today when this world comes and tries to break you down, because I'm telling you, my Lord has blessed you more than you know here today, and there's no reason in this world that you should let this world